All right, today we're going to talk about writing linear equations, so all about lines. When you're calculating the slope of a line, you're going to use rise over run, so that's up and then over, and it's really just counting, okay? So we're going to count from one point to another on a line. So when you're calculating slope, what you want to do is find two good points on the line, and then you're counting from one to the other. So we always go up, that's the rise. So we went up 2, so that's our numerator, and then the run is over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We went in the positive direction both ways. So our slope value, or m represents slope, is 2/5. So if you look at the second one, here's a point and here's a point. So our rise, we're gonna go down 1, 2. So since we went down, it's -2. And then we're gonna run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna simplify our fraction. So it's -1/3. And notice that the line here is going in a downward direction and our slope is negative. So that should make sense. Like here, our line is going in an upward direction and our slope is positive. So that should always match. All right, you can also calculate slope with the slope formula. So you have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The x's and the y's are points. So if you look at example number 2 here, it's helpful to label your points first. So this is going to be x1 and y1. When you have an ordered pair, it's always x and then y. And each ordered pair, like the ones should all be in one ordered pair and the twos should all be in the other. So this is x2, y2. So in each ordered pair, you should have an x and a y, and then the subscript numbers should match. So if we plug this into our slope formula, which is up here, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So -2 minus 0. Minus a negative is plus, always simplify, so our slope value is -1/2 there. All right, here we have another one, and you can label, and guys, you can start with the ones and do 1 minus 2, if that's easier. Just to make sure that your y's are always on top. See, I just messed that up. So -1 minus 3 over 4 minus 1. Y's are always on top, x's are always on the bottom. So just be consistent. So we have -4/3 here is our slope. A couple important notes about slope. Horizontal lines, that's what a horizontal line looks like, have a slope of 0. Vertical lines have a slope that is undefined. So this is the word you would use to describe the slope of a vertical line, and that's because you have a rise, but you have no run. So if you went up 2 and over 0, you can't have a 0 in the denominator, just by like rules of math. Positive slope, the line's going upwards to the right. Negative slope, the line's going downwards. So if you have a line that's going in a downward direction, you should always have a negative value for your slope. Here are a couple formulas that you need to be familiar with. Slope-intercept form, you should know this one. Y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. And y-intercept means where the line crosses through the y-axis. So if you have a coordinate plane here and you have a line, the y-intercept is where the line crosses through the y-axis. And then you also have point slope form. So that is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, the y, the regular y and the regular x just stay as is in the formula. The m is the slope still. This is the x value of the point that you're given. And this should be y1, not x2, sorry. y1. So this is the y value of the point. Okay, so let's see some examples here. Okay, notice this says, what is the point slope form of these two examples? So in order to figure this out, the first thing that you have to do is find the slope. So we know to find slope, you do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So we have 5 minus 2 over 5 minus 3. So that's 3 halves. So this is my m value. We should know that point slope form from the last slide is this formula here. And then you have x minus x1. And then you can use either of these points as your x1 and your y1. So we have y minus 2 equals m times x minus 3. And this would be your final answer here. You could also use the other point. Like if you decided to use this one, your answer would be y minus 5 equals 3 halves times x minus 5. Either of these answers is acceptable. You don't need both, you just need one. All right, so looking at example number 5, let's find the slope. We have 1/3 minus -4 over 5 minus -4/3. So some fraction maths here. This is 1/3 plus 4 and 5 plus 4/3. You can use your calculator to simplify here. 13/3 over 19/3. So you should simplify that, of course. This simplifies to 13 over 19. So that's our slope. If we use this as our x1 and our y1, we'll have y plus 4, because you have minus and negative, equals 13 over 19, x plus 4/3. Notice I'm never isolating the y in any of these examples because it says to put it in point slope form. So you leave it as is. And if I used the other point, it would be y minus 1/3 equals 13/19 times x minus 5. So either of these examples are fine. Okay, so here it's slope-intercept form. So that means we're in y equals mx plus b. So we're starting with a point and a slope. So I'm going to start with point slope form because that's what I'm given. So even though I'm supposed to put it in slope-intercept form, I'm going to start with point slope. So that's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. But I can't stop there in this situation because I'm told slope-intercept form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute. When you're putting it in slope-intercept form, the whole goal is to isolate the y. So this becomes plus 8. Now I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And then I have y equals -8/5 x plus 4. And that's your answer. All right, see if you can try this example 7 on your own, doing the exact same thing we just did. So we have y plus 1 equals 1/3 times x minus 3. We distribute, so y plus 1 equals 1/3 x minus 1. We subtract 1 from both sides, so we get 1/3 x minus 2. All right, a couple things to finish up here. Parallel lines are lines that look like this. They have the same slope. Okay, that's really important. Perpendicular lines form a 90-degree angle, and it's all about slope here in algebra with parallel and perpendicular. So the slopes here are opposite reciprocals, opposite reciprocal slopes. So what that means is you flip the fraction and change the sign. So what I mean by that is the slopes of perpendicular lines. Let's say the slope of one line is 1/2. The slope of its perpendicular line would be -2 over 1 or -2. Okay, so if I had a slope of 3/4, let's say I had a slope of -3/4, its perpendicular line would be +4/3. Okay, so you flip the fraction, change the sign. Parallel lines have the same slope. So if a slope is 2, its parallel line has a slope of 2. All right, so we're gonna practice with a parallel and a perpendicular. So this is the type of problem you might see. Write the slope-intercept form, so we know that's mx plus b, of the equation of a line that passes through this point and is parallel to this line. So when you do this, you first look at the slope here. Okay, the slope of this line is -3/5. Once you figure out the slope of that line, you never look at this equation again. Okay, so bye. Say bye to that. Okay, since we're dealing with a parallel line, the slope of my new line that I'm creating is going to be -3/5 because parallel lines have the same slope. So the slope I'm dealing with for my new line is -3/5. The point in the line that I'm creating passes through -5/2. Okay, sorry, words are hard. -5, 2 is the ordered pair. So I have a point and a slope, so I'm gonna start in point slope form. So it's y minus 2 equals -3/5 times x plus 5, because this is negative right here. And then I'm in slope-intercept form because that's what I'm told. So now I need to isolate the y here. So y minus 2 equals -3/5 x minus 3. And then I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So -3/5 x minus 1. That is my final answer. Okay, that's the line that's parallel to this hidden line now. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing, but the deal is this is perpendicular. So for starters, I'm gonna identify the slope in the given line. So the original slope is -9/4. So now I need to find my new slope. Well, this is perpendicular. Guess what, I'm getting rid of this, bye. Perpendicular, so I change the sign, flip the fraction. So it's a +4/9. So I don't use this one, I use this one. Now I have my point of 4, 5. I have a point and a slope, so I go y minus 5 equals 4/9 times x minus 4. And that's because it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. But we are still told that we need to be in slope-intercept form. So I need to isolate the y. So I'm going to distribute. Y minus 5 equals 4/9 x minus 16/9. You can use your calculator if you need help with the fraction math. Add 5 to both sides. So y equals 4/9 x. -16/9 plus 5 is 29. -29/9. That's your final answer. All right, if you have questions, let me know.